Hello. I think I am live. Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. How are you all? And can you hear me? Hey, Susan. Hey, Katrina. And hello, Nikki. Okay. All right. So we already have 6 people. Hello. I hope you guys are all well. Yeah. I assume you guys can hear me because you'd tell me if you couldn't hear me. Hi, Jane, and welcome to the live stream. It's good to have you. Hi, Dimmy. Hey, Katarina. Hi, Sam. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Okay, cool. All right. So I have my tea. So I have it's a nighttime tea because it's nighttime. Um, what are you guys drinking? It's a Friday night. Are you having a glass of wine? Are you having a cup of tea? What are you guys having? Bella. Okay, Bella's scratching on the door. She's in here, but she's scratching to go out. She's not going out. Nice, Greg. Homebrew beer. Hi, Ken. All right. I am hoping, because I definitely ticked the box, I'm hoping that the live chat will get saved this time. I don't know what happened last time. I'm very disappointed that I didn't get to save it last time. But yeah. All right. So Katrina's having Coke and Twisties, laying back on the lounge watching Netflix. That sounds good. Magnesium. Okay, cool. That will help you sleep later, I'm sure. And Ken might be having a cup of tea soon. Okay, cool. Good to hear. And Dimmy's having cocoa. Nice. Jane's knitting socks while she watches. You forgot to make tea before you started. That's okay. You can go get it now. I can wait. Nothing exciting's happening anyway. Not yet. Or at all, really. Hi, Robert. And hi, Matt and Honey, of course. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm so glad some of you came and joined me. It would be way more awkward if I was just talking to myself. So thank you. Yeah. So I don't really have any plans specifically for tonight. I thought I would touch on, I just kind of went over how much I spent in September as a whole. I didn't write down the numbers, and I haven't figured out how to do the live stream in a different way so I can share my screen and whatnot. So I was just going to talk a little bit about how I went with getting my grocery budget down, because I guess that was my main goal for September, was to spend less on groceries. And good news for me, I did. So for the entire month of September, I only spent $388, which I'm pretty happy with. However, I had a friend, a very sweet friend, who sent me $50 specifically to buy some luxury grocery items. So that doesn't include that. But she was very much spend it on some luxury groceries. So I did. So I bought myself some olive oil. I bought some of my nice bread. I bought some maple syrup. Yeah. So $388 on groceries plus some luxuries, but I still have all those luxury items. So that will take me into October. I'm thinking in October I can possibly spend even less on groceries because I have like enough meat in the freezer for the entire month. Vella has her food. So I'm thinking that I'm going to try and do like a really low spend in October, because although I spent not very much on groceries in September, I did have a big vet bill of $230. I had like a car repair. So I did spend money on other things. So I'm hoping for a low spend October. Yeah. All right. So what have you guys been talking about whilst I've been nattering on? Um, your dad used to make homebrew. He took it all very seriously too. Yeah. Okay. Um, our family used to make mead out of honey. Um, that was really delicious. Um, that's kind of her. Yes, it was so kind of her. Um, yeah, I was very, very grateful. I'm very, very excited to have my bread and some olive oil. Like, really, I don't mind doing my cooking, like steaming the onions and the garlic and the mince instead of using olive oil. But obviously, it tastes way better with olive oil, and olive oil is really good for you. So, yeah, I was very grateful to her. So, how do you feel about cutting back? Are you more hungry or it's working great? Other than that little hiccup where I was getting really hungry that week, I've been totally fine. And I've definitely bought more food in September than like, so I've got food to take me over to October. So I still have lentils and beans and definitely enough meat to take me through October. So it's not my turn to buy rice anytime soon. So I think, yeah, I think October will be a low spend month for me. I'm hoping. Um, yes, $50 for treats. Yeah, it was. It was really awesome. I mean, I feel like $50 doesn't get you what it used to, but yeah, I got lots of good things. Um, so Katrina said, my partner's dad makes homebrew. My partner drinks it when we're down the coast. Ah, yeah. It's a fun hobby. Um, I used to do kombucha as well. So, like, they're both living organisms. So, yeah, I, I liked both of those things. Okay. So, loving your videos. Have you planted anything yet? From Natalie. Hello, Natalie. Good on you buying your fave bread. We need to treat ourselves from time to time. Yes, we do. We do. It's good for morale. I think it makes like cutting corners in other areas easier if you can treat yourself every now and then. So have I planted anything yet? No, I haven't. So I found out that there's a seed bank in my area. So I'm going to check them out and see what seeds are available. So my understanding of a seed bank is you get the seeds for free, and then at the end of the growing season, you grow a plant specifically to return seeds to the seed bank. So I'll just have to see what they have. Um, have honey boxes? No, I didn't. I did live on a property, but we were still developing it. So we didn't have honey boxes. That was the list of things we do in the future. Obviously, that's not happening. Um, now you're thinking olives, all this olive oil talk. Yes. Do you have honey, Ken? Is that what you were asking? Um, many times you get to his house and you're told to wash bottles. Yes. Yes. Well, it's if you homebrew and have the bottles to buy too. Yes, hobbies are definitely good for the mind. I agree, Ken. I agree, Ken. All right. So you said you like barley and mix it in the family. Barley stop hungry feeling. We had neighbors that had honey boxes, but yeah, I've never them myself. My internet has cut out, or your internet has cut out? Oh, um, shit. All right, let me Okay, let me get an alternate way just in case. Um, yeah, like it looks internet is fine. I am sorry. Let me just set up hotspot with my phone so that maybe it will connect to that. All right. I have voice distortion. Well, that's good. Hmm. It could be a YouTube thing. All right. Yes. Put the on. Yeah. There's no storm here. Hmm. Ernie, my question for you that I've asked everybody: what are you drinking tonight? Are you having a glass of wine? Are you having a beer? Having a tea like me? Or are you just sitting there without a beverage? It happens. All right. So, Katrina, you had terrible wind today in Goulburn. Goulburn or Goulburn? You can't respond to me because I can't hear you. So ignore my question. Okay, so about to make a cup of tea. All right, better now. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Like, it looks internet is fine. Um, okay, so you're between Canberra and Sydney. Does it get cold there? It sounds like it probably gets cold there. Just close what I've got open in case that's affecting my internet. I don't think so, but okay, back now. Winter, okay. All right. Do you like the cold? I have mixed feelings about it. All right. So Greg says, I use this sandwich press to make cups for the family and save a fortune. Yeah, that's a good idea, Greg. Is my internet still bad? Or are we all good? Okay. You cold and you have right now. Living in the tropics, because what I personally find difficult is um, not being steady. So my body, what the tropics was that it was pretty stable, like it was always warm. Um, I did like that. I also like cold, like glitching again. Okay, am I back? Let me know if you can see. Okay, I am back. Okay, all right. Okay, awesome. Hopefully it lasts. Okay, I tried resetting the modem. Um, hopefully that helps. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah. All right. So what did I miss? Um, All right. I'm glad you guys like have been chatting. That's awesome. All right, so we're talking about foraging, awesome, and things to grow. Um, oh, yeah, Rachel, I know the incident you're talking about with the mushrooms. Um, Sam has heard that spring onion is easy and pretty hardy to grow. Yeah, I've heard that it's easy to grow too. I did try and grow it from seed once, but that's probably a waste of time because you can just use spring onion that you'd already bought and like. Um, the Woolworths bags break down in the garden compost. I haven't tried that, but yeah, I imagine they would, like the paper ones. Um, oh, okay. I need to reset this to live chat. Okay. Your wife and kids are ready to kick you out, Greg, because you've never been home this long. That's the funny thing when like one partner is usually at work during the day and then they're not. You know, things have to adjust. You get into your rhythms, and whenever like anything disrupts the rhythms of family life, it takes adjustment. But you never know. Like once you go back to work, they might really, really miss having you around. So I don't know. I don't know. Um, Kale is a good one too, hardy and nutritious. I used to love growing kale. Um, I used to grow a lot of brassicas in my food forest, like all over the place. So I'd get to go for like a walk around the loop, and I would generally like I was growing cauliflower and broccoli as well and cabbage, but I tended to just eat the leaves as as they grew, like as a salad leaf or a green. Um, yeah, I loved walking around and just picking things for dinner. It was great. Um, Dimmy dehydrates onions and leeks. That's a good idea. I need to get better organized. Um, I love the recent Australian Foragers book, The Weed Forager's Handbook, a guide to edible and medicinal weeds in Australia. Ah, I hadn't heard of it. That's awesome. It's the kind of thing where like an actual book is would be very helpful so that you can look at a picture and look at the thing and determine if it's it. Katrina says potatoes are great. Can make stuffed potatoes, baked potatoes, chips, potato bake with cream and onion soup mix. Yeah, potatoes are so versatile. So, Dimmy, you found potatoes in your garden. I can't even remember planting them there. I love it when that happens. Where food just appears and you don't know where it came from. Um, okay, so mulberry leaves can make tea, or you can use them to make a version of, I can't say that word, but cool, I know what you mean. Hey, Enid, do you plan to have more kids? Is that what you mean? No, definitely not. If you mean more cats, yes. Yes, I would love to have more cats. If I could afford a friend for Vela right now, I'd totally be on board with that. Um, I longingly look at like the RSPCA website for the cats that are up for adoption, but I can't take on any more cats right now because I can't really afford the one I have. But I think it might help with her stress if she had a friend. If I can convince one of my housemates to get a cat that can be Vela's friend, that would be perfect. Um, Thanks, Rachel. I didn't know that. Okay. Rachel is such a wealth of information. Thank you, Rachel. So Susan, you make your yogurt. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Uh, I have made yogurt in the past. Um, I'm just a little bit of a chaotic person, if I'm honest. So I did yogurt where I started it with like another yogurt and used that to seed the new yogurt. But then I forgot to keep that going. You know what I mean? Like you need to use some of the previous lot of yogurt to make the next lot of yogurt. I don't know. I'm just a little bit chaotic. Enid, that book is worth getting from the library. It's a good beginner's guide. Yeah, I I like the sound of that, Rachel. Um, and it's a good way to get me out of the house and walking if I have a reason to go looking for things too. Um, you've seen tomatoes grow in random places. Yeah, so have I. I think because tomatoes are a popular one for people to grow in their garden, I think sometimes they escape, especially if it's like somewhere where people have rented and some tomatoes fall on the ground and then the next tenants move in and they're like, oh, there's tomatoes. So Ken says, I have a small mulberry plant that came up, so I put it in a big pot. I don't think I'll put it in the ground. Yeah, fair enough. Nikki, you do the same thing with like look at rescue dogs and dream of adopting them, but you can't. um, all right. So Eclipse asks, what are your thoughts on the growing child-free lifestyle a lot of people these days are espousing? So what are my thoughts on that? I think times are tough for a lot of people. So I can understand why people wouldn't feel that they could have children in the current um, socioeconomic climate. I also don't think that Western cultures are all that conducive to raising children in a lot of ways. I think we've lost, even when I had kids in the 2000s, we've lost a lot of the community that used to exist, that at least you'd have other mothers to talk to about what you're going through whilst you're raising your kids. I think we've lost a lot of that. Um, so I can see why people might not want to have children right now. Um, yeah. Uh, Plus, I don't really judge other people for whatever lifestyle they choose to lead. Um, I think there's a lot of societal problems with relationships too, and lasting relationships. And obviously, that's going to have a knock on effect. If you don't feel stable in a relationship, you're probably not going to want to have kids. Home brand tinned tuna is good, simple cat food that doesn't cost a lot. True. Yeah, home brand sardines. I noticed a few years ago. So I used to give the home brand sardines to Vella, like the ones in Springwater. They changed the supplier for those sardines. So they used to not have added salt, but now if you look at the sardines, they're very high in sodium. So I stopped giving them to Vella because you got to be careful about the amount of salt that you give to cats. But it used to be a really good option. Um, I don't know. I haven't looked at them recently. Maybe they've changed back, but I noticed the quality of the sardines had diminished and they had added salt. So probably because the sardines didn't taste very good, they've added salt. Like a lower quality sardine, they've added salt to. I had so many cherry tomatoes last year, I froze a lot for soups and stews. Yeah, good idea, Ken. Greg, in my youth, I worked for a butcher after school. Now I buy stock cheap from farmers, not good enough for the market, and built a mini butchery with all the equipment. My pets love my hobby. Okay, that is a very useful hobby, Greg. And I can imagine your pets and your family are very grateful that you've picked up that hobby. So, quality beverage review. Please let me know what your name is if you don't want me to call you quality beverage review. Hi, Enid. Do you get decision fatigue when it comes to cooking? Um, Lately, not so much because I have such limited ingredients. What I am finding is that I'm cooking the same thing over and over again, but I think that's just a budget cooking thing for me at the moment. I did start getting a funky food box. I just got my second one today. And so it's got vegetables that I wouldn't necessarily have bought myself. So it's kind of going to force me to cook things that maybe I wouldn't. Like I got a whole lot of beetroot today. And I don't mind beetroot. I will normally like roast it with other roast vegetables. Um, but it's normally not like the star of the roast vegetables. But I got a lot of beetroot today. So I'm going to have to, if anybody has any suggestions for things to do with fresh beetroot, that would be awesome. Um, do I get decision fatigue when coming to? Yeah, so that was the question I was answering. I know what you mean with the decision fatigue. And I am guilty of just falling back on whatever's easiest to cook because of the decision fatigue. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Do you struggle with that? I'd love to get a rescue cat next year. What's a nice breed in the way of calmer cats? I've always just had moggies or domestic short hairs. So I've never had like a specific breed of cat. Um, yeah. I think all like yes, different breeds have different characteristics, I guess, but even within a breed, personalities can vary. Like I knew someone that got a ragdoll cat thinking that they would be like, really floppy and love cuddles. And that ragdoll cat did not like cuddles. So yeah, it's hard to know. Because I think, yeah, cats are very individual in their personalities. I guess with rescues, though, you can go and meet them. And I get why people prefer kittens. But the thing with an adult rescue is their personality is probably already formed. So they're probably not going to change that much. So if you guys like gel and get along really well, um, yeah. Yeah, I think it's very individual on the cat. Um, all right. We're still having freezing problem. Yeah, sorry guys. I have no idea. Like it looks like everything's fine on my end, but I don't know. Um, Hopefully it fixes itself. Um, all right, so Eclipse says the birth rate is going down steadily. It's at 1.7, down from 1.8 last year. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the answer is, or if it is a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Um, I mean, obviously, it's not a good thing, aging population and whatnot, but I kind of understand where people are coming from. And I think, yeah, someone mentioned there used to be big families, but that's the thing. Lots of people had big families. So you had each other and you had more of a support network. Even for me in the 2000s, I had 3 children and people thought that was a lot. And um, yeah, I got a lot of comments about having a third child. So yeah, I don't know. So even in the 2000s, I think having a big family was becoming difficult. And I think because I had children quite young as well, um, I would have had more children, but nobody around my age was having children, so I didn't have any mum friends. So I didn't really feel like I had a support network, um, which I think is really important. Um, in Victoria, the blackberries are prolific for a time in February. Okay, cool. Um, that's a good point, Rachel. So Rachel said, remember you can go to animal shelters and volunteer to play with the animals. It helps them stay socialized and get a good forever home. Yeah, okay, cool. Then I get to play with extra cats, but I don't have to pay for them by bringing them home. Oh, but I might be tempted. I might be tempted to bring one home, but I can't. I can't bring one home. Um, yes, there is so much violence in Australia against women. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I think that is part of the problem because ultimately, once you choose to have children with someone, you become a lot more stuck in the relationship. And it's a lot harder to leave, obviously. Um, yeah. So I do think that's having an effect too. I think uh, people are becoming more educated about um, different types of domestic violence in the home. And it's probably making people more wary and more familiar with red flags that they should be looking for. So that's going to affect people settling down into long term relationships too. And I don't know how to fix that. That's a systemic problem. Um, okay. Thank you. Brunswick's wild sardines have a brand that has no added salt on the label, less than $2 a can. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, thanks, Matt. So, yes, I didn't see when Rachel said that, but yes, I agree with both of you. Sardines and natural oil are great for people too, as long as you watch the salt, like you said. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really just the sodium. Obviously, she can have the oil. Um, so Rachel says, I agree about the children slash networks issues, plus long term financial stability goals and travel goals, etc. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm glad I don't have young children right now, or I'm not having young children right now. Yeah, it must be really tough for people. It's hard enough just looking after myself right now. I can't imagine what it must be like for people who have dependents as well. Okay, so Greg says he had no TV or internet out on the old family farm and they learned handy skills. That is so true. I think the internet is great if you utilize it in a proactive way where you go to it to learn skills and then you go and actually use those skills. I think a lot of us, myself included, will watch heaps of how to videos and we'll see people doing awesome things and be like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And then we just don't go and do it. So, yeah, I think it's a bit of a balancing act. It's good because we can learn new skills more easily, but a lot of the time we just have a theoretical understanding of how to do it and we never actually practically go out and try these new skills. Um, Katrina said, why are you jumping? Not you, Katrina. It must be the internet issues. Sorry, the chat keeps jumping around on me. Um, all right, so maybe I'm like super behind on the chat. I apologize. Um, So Katrina says, so many houses up for sale I've seen because people just can't afford to live these days. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's becoming so for me personally, the way we got ahead when we did was, um, we were fortunate that we could buy somewhere, the property prices would go up a few years later, and then we could sell and buy somewhere cheaper. But the option to go somewhere cheaper, I feel like, is getting a lot more limited. Um, so I used to live near like a regional town. And when we first got to that area, we lived on a property out of town. I think the houses, like you could get a good house for like 250,000, and a few years later 450,000, and it's not even that nice. And this is just like a small regional city, like it's not. Yeah, so I feel like the options to just go somewhere cheaper are becoming more and more limited. um Hi Emma from Perth, good to have you. um Kitty cats are so expensive. Yeah, they can be. um a lot of this, like it's the kind of thing where they're not expensive until they are. um So you can go like 10 years and they cost you barely anything, and then a bunch of health things pop up. And because they're your family and you love them, you spend it. Ah, good, Dimmy. So it sounds like it fixed itself for you when you refreshed. That's good. Hi at home with Jacqueline. Sharon asks, how did you discover you had a problem with nightshades? I had a slight reaction to tomatoes on an allergy test, but continue to eat them. Um, So at various times, like my health problems got worse, and I tried an elimination diet a few times, and it was one of the times that I did an elimination diet that I discovered when I tried to reintroduce nightshades, that I had like a big reaction to them. So yeah, that's how I found out. Elimination diets, reintroducing things, seeing what happens. I think that time I tried the autoimmune protocol, if that's helpful to you. Um, yeah, and I discovered nightshades are a no go. All right, so Nikki said supposedly borscht is a beetroot soup, which is super yummy, but no idea how to make it. Okay. All right, cool. I will look into it. Pickled beetroot? Yes. Okay. Yeah, this chat is a long way behind. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm taking forever to get to your um, comments. Pickled beetroot. Okay. Um, Roast beetroot or borscht. Yeah, so I do roast it. I do like beetroot, but not as like the main ingredient, you know what I mean? Like, because it's got a very strong flavor. I know some people make brownies out of it, and that seems to work. So maybe. Um, Calm cats. Ginger cat climbing on my head right now. Yeah, if you want a very calm cat, I've heard gingers are not the way to go. Um, thanks for that, Matt. Um, so Rachel says fresh beetroot roast, make salad with walnuts and soft goat's cheese. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Have I been to Western Australia? No, I have not. Um, my youngest son lived in Perth for, I think he was there 6 months. He's my son that's living overseas right now. He's in Europe, and he worked tirelessly in a mattress factory for 6 months to save up to go to Europe. And yeah, so he was in Perth. So I've heard about Perth, but I've not been. No. He really liked Perth. If he comes back, he's probably thinking of going there. Um, okay, Susan also likes borscht. 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 but no idea how to make. Yes, okay, cool. I will Google a recipe. Um, so quality beverage review is named Jackson. Okay, awesome. Thank you. You have decision fatigue from ADHD. I completely understand where you are coming from. Um, I have not been diagnosed, but if self diagnosis counts for anything, um, the hyperfixation, not being able to do anything until it's an emergency, and so many other things I completely relate to. So I hear you, Jackson. Um, for me, I will get the decision fatigue about what to eat and then go in a million different directions. And then it's so overwhelming that then I just have toast. So I don't have any solutions for you, unfortunately, because, yeah, too often I just end up eating toast. Um, yeah. Do I prefer audiobooks over physical books or do I wait for the movie? I notoriously don't like watching movies or TV shows based on books that I've enjoyed because it's never quite right. Like the characters are never who you thought they were going to be. Um, do I prefer physical books over audiobooks? Okay, so um, that's a difficult one. So at the moment, I spoke about this in my last live stream, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. When I started uni, I have so many set readings that I can't keep up with that I haven't really been able to read fiction. And I used to be someone that like had a huge stack and I was always reading. Um, so I've always been a big reader, but since I started university, I've just been struggling to. I yeah, I struggle with the shift. Um, Also, I feel like uni has ruined reading for me because I'm being forced to read something. I don't know. It's like I want to do it. It's by choice, but the fact that I have to do it, I don't know. So I'm really struggling with reading, even though I was always a big reader. So yes, I probably prefer physical books when I'm able to read, but I haven't been able to read for the last few years. Anything that wasn't like a really short novella, because yeah, there's like this piece of me that's like, why are you reading fiction? You've got all these readings you have to do. And I have so many readings to do that I then can't read anything, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. All right. Hi, Sliver, who's in Sydney. Awesome. Nice to see you. Um, yes, Ken. Rachel is really knowledgeable. Um, Katrina has heard that Perth is for the rich. So my son, who was working in the mattress factory, just randomly, but he was saving up to go to Europe. Um, he lived in a share house, but when I say share house, it was like he had one bedroom with him and two other people in the bedroom. He loved it. He's an extrovert and he just loves chatting to people. So he actually loved it. But yeah, I think it was a 3 bed plus a granny flat, and they had packed. I'm sure it wasn't legal. They had packed as many individual tenants into this share house as possible. Yeah, so, yeah, I do think Perth is very expensive. Perth was not expensive for him because he shared his room with two people. Um, right. Okay. So Greg built his 20-year-old daughter a tiny house to live in. Ah, that's so nice. I budgeted 5,000. It cost me 11,000. Yeah. Building materials have gotten so expensive over the past few years. Like the last 5 years, it's just been crazy. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm sure. Is your daughter enjoying the tiny house? Like, is she grateful? I'm sure she is grateful, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe it didn't turn out the way she'd hoped. Um, so Ken says, I would imagine there's many couples who can't afford to separate. Yeah, absolutely. Even when you are doing okay financially, I can speak from experience. Very quickly you very quickly dwindle your savings when you're now paying for two households, especially if no one's able to stay in the family residence. So you're paying for rent in two separate places. It's a real drain. It's very difficult. Um, and then people who have children that are still at home makes it very difficult to separate as well. Katrina says, I have one child and I love being a mum. I'm 31. Yeah, being a mum's awesome. Hard, but awesome. Demi lives in a tiny house. Cost you 8,500. Okay. Do you like living in the tiny house, Demi? Okay. All right, Greg, it must have felt wonderful to have made a home for your daughter. And now you have your house to yourselves. Yeah. I have a special mixed cat, says Greg. I think it took 20 cats to make him. But worth it, right? Like all those generations, you got the perfect cat in the end. Sam says relatable with the toast. Yeah. Toast is life, says Nikki. Yes, I agree. What can you not do with toast? Like, it's so versatile. Katrina says eggs are great. We're currently eating boiled eggs on sandwiches for lunch. It's simple but so tasty for lunch. Yeah, and that really like ups the nutritional value of the toast or bread. So yeah, well done, Katrina. That's a good idea. Ken says uni is intense, especially law. Just pace yourself. Yeah, it is intense. I didn't appreciate it until I was in the thick of it. Jacqueline says, I live in Perth. It's a great place to live. Honestly, everywhere is expensive at the moment. Yeah, it is. It is. I think all the major cities are very expensive, and even just regional cities. Yeah, I've heard good things about Perth. Western Australia in general, it looks beautiful. Um, wow, sharing one room with two other people. Yeah, I couldn't do it, but he loved it. I I cannot fathom liking that. But then he's young. Um, yeah, I would hate it. I guess he always shared with one of his brothers. Um, yeah, sorry. I guess he was used to sharing a room all of his childhood, but yeah, two strangers. Though I guess they weren't strangers for long once he knew them. Um, Natalie says, I end up eating the same breakfasts every day. Oats and berries, now they are more in season. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yes, I'm generally having oats and berries for breakfast every day too, unless it's toast. But good to shake things up and have oats sometimes. Demi, you've always lived in small spaces. Okay, so the tiny house was an easy adjustment for you. Yeah. I've discovered no matter how large my space, I can always get it cluttered and messy. So it's just better to have a smaller space and try and not clutter it up, because no matter how much space I have, it will get cluttered. Um, Katrina says, I would never share a room. It's already hard enough sharing rooms in public hospitals. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just feel like you need your private space, even if it's not a very big space. I think for me personally, I like to have a private space. Okay. So, Greg, you own the house block next door. So the tiny house is there, and the kids didn't go very far. You would worry if they were too far away. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's nice. Okay. So they've got their own space. You each have your privacy, but you know that you're right there if they need anything. That's great. All right. So Jackson says, after ADHD diagnosis slash meds, I can initiate tasks much easier. You're a mature age student, and uni readings are much less scary to start. Recommend diagnosis. Yeah. As I get further along, it's starting to become, I think, because I'm 41. Up until now, I've been able to, I guess, make it work. But I feel like as my degree gets harder, um, I'm finding it more like I'm starting to let things slip, uh, because, yeah, the whole only doing things when they're an emergency and putting things off, um, it starts to not work so well. And I can only get so many extensions. So I got an assessment in last night, 3 hours late. It's the kind of thing where there's a chance that they won't deduct the 5% because it was only 3 hours, but I'm playing with fire. Like, first, it was only 15 minutes late on an assessment, and it's getting later and later and later. So I'm just happy that I submitted, honestly. But yeah, it's starting to unravel. Yeah. So thank you, Jackson. Um, I mean, I'm a bit scared about meds, but I'm also kind of sick of not being able to focus, and I'm sick of like the constant chaos of my own making. Well, yeah, of my brain's own making, I guess. So Heath Ledger was from Perth. I did not know that, Katrina. All right, Jackson says, I used to only read the abstract and conclusion due to bad attention. You can get a lot of things from the abstract and the conclusion. And then if you think you just might need a few little cherry picked things from the middle, you can do that too. But yes, I'm not condoning that. But yeah, I hear you. um, so Nikki has heard mixed reviews for ADHD meds in women. Okay. I mean, there are so many great resources with ideas for how to overcome these challenges, but it's hard to put things into practice. It's back to that whole, I learn lots of things, but do I actually put them into practice? Sometimes. sometimes. Okay, Jacqueline has overnight oats most days with frozen raspberries. That sounds good. Yeah, the frozen berries from Aldi are like they're good. I don't see any difference between them and the Coles and Woolworths frozen berries, but yeah, much more affordable. Oh, thank you. Yes, please do click the like button. I'm terrible at getting people to do the things. I feel like I don't remember, and I would feel bad asking people to do things. But on the other hand, when I'm watching other people, they'll often say, "Hey, subscribe or click the like button." And then I'm like, "Oh, crap, I haven't done that." And I remember because they told me to do it. So I don't know, it's complicated. Um, Rachel's an introvert and agrees about needing her own space. Yes, me too. So introverted. Um, Ken says it's actually quite admirable that your son was able to share a room with two others. I would like to think I could manage doing that. Yeah, I think um, he was just so focused on his goal and he was willing to do whatever to make it to that goal. Yeah, so yeah, I was impressed. I'm too scared to eat frozen fruit from the supermarket because they're imported from overseas and overseas always have issues with the fruit. I try not to think about it if I'm honest, Katrina. I am concerned about it too. Like, I don't know, do they wash the frozen berries before freezing them? I rather just not think about not think about it. But yeah, it worries me too. So I understand where you're coming from. Um, Natalie says, by the way, I loved your under the bed declutter. Are you needing to declutter anything else? I've been slowly doing the wardrobes and some cupboards. Um, I definitely have clothing that I did not wear this winter that I probably need to go through. I didn't show the full declutter under my bed. I just thought it was a bit repetitive. Um, but yeah, there was actually quite a bit under there. Uh, yeah, yeah. Um, do I need so yeah, do I need to declutter anything else? I think again it comes back to I'm quite lucky that I'm being forced because I have housemates and shared spaces. I can't be as messy as I am inclined to be, or not like I don't intentionally be messy, just like I have to be more thoughtful about like I don't want to leave stuff in the shared areas. Um, so really, I only have my bedroom and my shelf in the kitchen. I've got like my toiletries stuff, I guess. Um, I've been avoiding going through that, but I probably need to go through that at some point too. So yeah. But that's good that you're going through wardrobes and some cupboards. I hear it's better if you just do these things like chip away at them bit by bit rather than letting them get really bad. So, for example, letting your wardrobe get so out of control that you can't close it anymore and then dealing with it. I hear it's better to not do that. So, I fully condone chipping away at it slowly. It sounds like a really good idea. Um, all right. Ah, okay. So Rachel likes the berry powders from Aldi. I have not tried that. All right. So Greg says he can't sit down. You just always have to be doing things, even though you have a broken ankle and ribs. Okay, so that has slowed you down, but you still can't rest. Okay. Look, I had a neighbor who he had a knee replacement, and he's in the same boat where he just can't sit still. Like he's always doing something. Like he's got a big property. Um, and I will say he did have to rest the knee a little bit, but he had a friend who'd also had a knee replacement at the same time. And the guy that couldn't sit still, he healed like remarkably quickly. So I think he was probably using the knee before he was supposed to be able to use the knee. But I guess because he was so fit and healthy for, even though he's a man like in his mid 60s, I think that probably helped the healing process. And he was probably like, flexing it. I don't know. He just healed up quicker because he's the kind of person that can't keep still. But I think there's a balance. If you need to rest it, you should rest it. But also, some people probably rest too much when they should be stretching it out a bit. So I don't know. So I don't know if it's good or bad that you've had to slow down, Greg. Maybe it's been good for you. Natalie says apparently with perimenopause and neurodivergence gets worse. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. So Sam recommends the frozen mangoes from Aldi. I have not tried that. I haven't had mangoes since I left the tropics. So I was very spoiled because there would be people selling mangoes on the side of the road from their like spray-free farms where I lived. So I was very spoiled for mango. But eventually I'm going to have to, have a mango again from a supermarket. So yeah, good tip. Thank you. Ken, I'm sorry that you broke your ankle and had to have surgeries on it. Ouch. Okay, so Greg, you were on your phone in the dark at a station sharing sheep and accidentally stepped backwards off a drop and landed on the road below. Oh, that sounds painful. Okay, so Greg, you've shorn sheep 31 years, just retired at 51. Okay. And Ken's dad was a shearer. Okay. And Jacqueline's uncle was a shearer. All right, Jacqueline, you need to sort your drawers. I can't find anything now or close the drawers properly. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. This happens. This happens to the best of us, I think, where it just at some point it just passes this line and yeah. You can do it. I believe in you. You can sort out your drawer. It seems, yeah. I think if I can do it, you can do it. Although I'm very lucky right now because I don't have much stuff. But I still manage to make things messy, even though I don't have much stuff. Oh, what did Katrina say? Because Ken says, Katrina, I love you. You are so giving. What are your Christmas plans? I don't know. What did Katrina say? I'm sorry. I've clearly missed something. Anyway. Let's keep moving. I'm sorry if I miss any of your comments. I don't mean to. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. All right, so Emma says, my rent went up $50. $50 a week. Having an alcohol beverage and working out my finances. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Jacqueline fell over and smashed her knee on the concrete. Don't recommend. Sorry, Jacqueline. That sounds painful. I broke my foot and badly sprained my ankle. Probably about this time last year. Um, yeah, because we were building our own house. I was getting in and out of the house site without stairs, so there was a bit of a climb and a drop, and I just stuffed up the dismount and just landed on one leg. Maybe fell about like I don't know a meter. Um, yeah, so that was fun. I was in a moon boot for. I was meant to be in a moon boot for at least 6 weeks, but I wasn't compliant. I didn't actually wear it for that whole time. Um, yeah. And because where I lived, there was no level ground. Um, and yeah, they tell you like not to go on uneven ground. Yeah, well, everywhere was uneven ground, so that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, so look, I can understand to a certain extent how that must feel because it was very painful. So Katrina's background is aged care and disability support worker. I Yeah, it sounds like you'd be great at that, Katrina. I'm sure you were very caring and treated the people you were working with like really well. I'm sure they really appreciated you. So Ken says the mangoes on the side of the road. I've stopped a few times with my brother around Mackay. Yeah, yeah. Um, Mangoes are amazing. Lots of people, so Katrina says, lots of people in need of help, and I loved going grocery shopping and showering and cleaning. Okay, so it sounds like you found the work really rewarding. Okay, so Jackson says, I wear the same style of plain shirt most days due to decision fatigue. I go for comfort over style/brand. Society may think it's wrong to own 10 of the same shirt, but I will choose comfort every time. A good jacket is non negotiable, though. Yeah, okay. I hear you, Jackson. Um, if I find a shirt that's comfortable and that I feel okay in, I always buy more than one because you just never know when you're going to find a shirt that you like again. Yeah, so I don't really own, other than things that I get from an op shop, I don't own like singles of things. I'll always buy more than one shirt if I like it. So I understand where you're coming from. And then I know that I always get like a favorite shirt and then I just wear that one to death. So it's better to have a backup so it doesn't wear out so quickly. So yeah, I hear you on the decision fatigue and getting dressed. It definitely helps. Frustrating. I've noticed alcohol prices have jumped maybe ahead of Christmas so they can put it on sale. It's best time for best value on that if you can. Okay. All right. Okay, so Natalie asks, would you ever do a little day in the life vlog? We'd love to go on a little adventure, or will you stick to at home vids? Okay, so it's complicated. Um, I'm actually like I've been thinking about it this week. Like I feel really like and a lot of the constriction is of my own making. Um, I'm just a bit worried about it being identifiable where I'm living, for safety reasons. And I also feel like restricted in what I can talk about. And I feel like I'm not being authentic if I can't like just talk about whatever I want to. So I'm having to like censor myself in some ways. And um, I don't like it. I would love to share a day in my life. And yeah, because I actually like that kind of video making where if I'm enjoying something, I'm somewhere beautiful, I would love to just film it and show you. I'm just a little bit concerned if people were to find my channel, that it would be identifiable where I am. That's the only concern that I'm currently having. Um, so I will think about it. At the moment, I'll just kind of keep things tight and locked down, and then when I'm comfortable sharing more, maybe. Um, I just wouldn't want to expose myself and then regret it, like because you can't really go back. So yeah, sorry if you heard that out of context. It sounds dirty, but it's not. Um, a little day in the life. So yeah, day in the life vlog. Yeah, and I feel like things are becoming a bit repetitive because I keep filming the same shots in the same rooms. And there's only so much you can do with with that. Um, that's kind of why I was really determined to do that garden bed for last week's video because I'm like, I'm so sick of seeing the same things over and over again. So you must be getting sick of seeing the same things over and over again. So yeah, that's kind of why I did that. Yeah. So Katrina learned how to care because both of my parents had strokes when I was young, a young teenager, and I had to bath and do everything around the house. That's that's rough, Katrina. Um, but that says a lot about your character. Like for some people, that would make them turn away from the caregiver role, um, more so because they were forced to do something when they were so young. But the fact that you kind of leaned into it and like, yeah, that's a lot about your character. So, am I? You're 45 and you're feeling it lately. Um, Look, I don't know the details of it, but I was reading some study where 44, like something happens with our biological age at 44. Um, like, so there's a big dip at 44, and then I think it's 60. So you might be feeling that. I don't know. Thank you, Rachel. So Rachel says, Enid, be safe, safe matters. Yeah. I'm thinking that, Nikki, like, because I love going on walks and I love going on pretty walks, obviously. So yeah, if I could find a walking trail that's not too identifiable, I would definitely be up for that. So Natalie says, still loving the home vids as they are very cozy and chill. Okay, awesome. The problem is, as a content creator, you're not sick of something until you're sick of something. You know what I mean? So, like, you might think it's fine, and then it's just one video of the same thing too many, and it pushes you over the edge. You're like, no, I could not watch that ever again. Um, Jacqueline found a random shoe buried in her garden today. Very random. Yeah, that is pretty random. Okay, very cool. I once had a fox that was stealing neighbors' shoes and putting the shoes in my backyard. So I don't know if it's a fox bringing you shoes, but it looked like I was stealing people's shoes, but it was a fox. Um, yeah. He also jumped. I don't know if it was a he. It was a young fox, and I think he was like teething on the shoes, and he would bring them into our backyard for some reason. And he actually went on our trampoline with his shoe. It was very odd. It was very entertaining, but yeah, he was stealing everybody's shoes. I don't know why. And then pinning it on me. I swear I wasn't stealing shoes. Enid, be situationally aware at all times. Yes. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree. So Rachel says, Enid, you could make some tea foraging gift type videos without showing anything local particularly. Yeah, okay. I will give it some thought and see if I can find anywhere that's. Jacqueline, are you going to plant something in the random shoot? That is a good question. I don't know. Do they make good pots? So MR is watching the X Files. I do remember the X Files. I used to find them very disturbing, but at the time I couldn't stop watching them, even though I was so disturbed. Katrina feels like every 10 years we change the person. Yeah. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to feel like um I know I've heard others who are older than me say it, that I'm just starting to work this life thing out in some ways, and I'm over 40. Like our lifespans are so short. Just as we start to figure it all out, we're coming to the end. I know I'm not near the end, but yeah, I hopefully. But yeah, life feels too short because I'm just starting to figure things out. The crows also like to do random stuff and steal my flowers. Yeah, yeah. I tried growing sunflowers, um, and the cockatoos would always steal the seeds, no matter how many times I scared them off. Ken says, Enid, no one's coming to save us. Women need to be hyper focused on being situationally aware all the time. Yeah, yeah, that's good advice. I agree. Matt says, yes, be safe with your location. As an IT tech guy over 25 years, yes, it's scary how much can be found out, so be careful. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Susan says, framed by a kleptomaniac fox. Yeah. Yeah, I was. Yes. X Files did teach us just because you're paranoid, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Hi, Steve from Tassie. Is it cold there? So Jackson says, in order to beat my insomnia, I practice yoga. It's awesome for sleep issues. 20 to 30 minutes is so underrated. Okay. That sounds good. Um, Yeah, that's good to know, Jackson. I think that would definitely help a lot of people, myself included. Yeah, Emma, but the truth might be out there, but is it actually attainable for us regular folks? Like, I don't know. I think the truth may, one, be subjective, and two, not always uh, able to be found. Oh, we're at an hour and a half. Okay, thank you, Nikki. And here I thought that nobody was going to turn up tonight, and I would just talk about my little, this is how much I spent on groceries, and then it would just be dead and quiet. And I was very worried that there wouldn't be anything for me to interact with. So thank you. You're all awesome. It feels very odd that like I'm the only person that can talk, honestly. Um, yeah, like, do people really want to listen to me talk for an hour? But I guess you're not, because we're interacting. But it would be better if you guys could talk back to me. That would be great. Um, so Katrina says, last time I used a shared clothesline, someone took my undies and bras and hung them up high on a gum tree. This was 10 years ago, but I've never forgotten it. Okay, interesting. So they were just messing with you? Like, I don't think it was a fox. Could have been a bird. Probably a human, though. Nearly shorts weather. Good to know, Steve. Okay, okay. And what would you consider shorts weather? Like 15 degrees or no? Read up on changing the screws on the door. Longer screws are wise. Oh, like on front doors? Cool. Have fun, Jackson. Um, thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting to me. Good luck with Mario Kart. Um, yeah, yeah. Katrina, did you get revenge on the person? Well, did you ever find out who took your undies and bras? And were you able to get them down? Like, Ken says someone stole a whole clothesline of their clothes once. Damn, damn. And I get so attached to clothes that it's not even the expense of replacing them. I would just like, and then can I remember exactly what was on the clothesline? Like, I'd always feel like I'm missing something. I don't know that I'm missing it. I don't know. I would find it very stressful if someone stole a washing line full of clothes because I'm attached to the clothes, not because of their monetary value, but I don't know. You're not late, Steve. We're still here. All right. Greg says a fox was getting my hens, so I hooked up an electric wire around the coop and the fox dug under it. They're wily, those foxes. Human bird. Okay. You don't know how or why they did that, but it's a life experience and it really made you think, okay, well, that's good. You learned something from it. That's all we can ask from life, really, is that we take a lesson away from it. At least 16 degrees to wear shorts. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I mean, it's all subjective. Some people will wear shorts in like -9 with a big heavy coat. Um, some people just have thick skins, I guess. All right, yeah. Entrance doors. Longer screws. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a like, you think of a front door as being solid just because it's a front door, but you're right, it's really not, depending on the door. Okay, Katrina. So you didn't get them down. It was near a highway, and I was embarrassed at the time. Okay. Okay. So you just had to let them go. Yes, Ken, I agree. So Ken says Greg and Katrina and Rachel and everyone is just so bright and have great personalities. I agree. Like, how did I get so lucky to find such nice people? Jacqueline's making chicken pad thai, but they keep eating. She keeps eating the snow peas. I understand that. Um, I grew snow peas one year in my food forest, and they were so good. The problem was that I had two kids still at home, so I mean it's not a problem, but it was whoever could get to the snow peas that morning first got to have snow peas. Yeah, but I should have, like, had I stayed there another year, I would have just planted 3 times as many so that we each had enough snow peas every day. But yeah, they're so good. For emergency use, bushman insect repellent in your purse and a lighter for extremes is good to get rid of. But oh, okay. So back to Ken losing his entire washing line of clothes. You were horrified. I was just out of home, very little money, and I was hand washing. So I was like, why would someone want my clothes? I know, right? I don't understand theft generally. Um, Especially not clothes. Like, because it's unlikely the person that stole your clothes, like, didn't have any clothes of their own. I guess that's possible, but I can understand if, like, you're in need. But even that, like, obviously, I wouldn't steal anyway. But clothes, you're just messing with someone. Um, so Steve asks, "Are you enjoying YouTubing, Enid? I've got a few of your vids to catch up on. Awesome, thank you for watching. Um, I am. I am enjoying it. But as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm just like struggling with, because I have limited spaces I'm comfortable filming in. I feel like I'm doing the same things over and over again, and I'm getting a bit bored editing it. So I imagine you guys are going to get bored watching it. So I need to figure out uh, alternative things to film, maybe. Um, yeah, to keep the spark alive for the viewers and for me. Um, I'm also really bad with timelines and sticking to schedules. So that has become challenging to do something every week. Um, yeah. I'm yeah, I don't know that I've filmed enough for this week's video. So I'm trying to brainstorm what I could do because yeah, I don't have a lot of footage to work with so far this week. Um, okay, so the wood part of the door. Rose is actually one of my Scottish clans in my heritage. So that's where Rose comes from. It's actually a Scottish clan in the Scottish Highlands. So it is actually a surname. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I guess just see what happens. No point putting pressure on yourself. Yeah, yeah. Um, Christmas gift ideas for free or near free would be an idea, Enid. Yeah. True. True. Um, yes. Yeah. Um, I am a Highlander. Yeah. I have Scottish and Irish and English heritage and some mystery heritage. Um, my great great granny came from Scotland and had a baby, but there's no father written on there, so bit of a mystery there. Okay, so what have I missed? Katrina asked about my Christmas plans. I don't really know. Um, one of my sons is definitely going to come to visit. Um, one of my sons, as I mentioned, he's in Europe, so he's probably not going to be able to afford to just visit for Christmas and go back again. So unlikely that he'll be here. Um, and I have a son that lives where I used to live, so it's quite a distance away. But yeah, if I can convince him to come and visit for Christmas too, that would be great. But yeah, I'll be staying where I am, and hopefully some of my boys can come and visit me. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Uh, the last few Christmases, I've not had a kitchen, like a proper kitchen. I had like an outdoor kitchen whilst we were building. Um, and I didn't have an oven other than using the fire, like a big pot as an oven in the fire. So yeah, I can actually use an oven this year, which would be nice for Christmas. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what my plans are for Christmas. Uh, it's still a bit up in the air. But yeah, it's not far away now. It's October. So I guess it is the right time to start thinking about Christmas. Yes, Rachel, you've got similar heritage. Yeah. I do remember Highlander, Dimmy. When I was growing up, we had Foxtel, so I had more TV options than a lot of my peers. So I do remember Highlander. I agree, Katrina. Just spending time with my sons. Um, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Rachel, it does. Yeah, Rachel says Christmas takes time to prepare for, especially on a tight budget. I agree. Um, yeah, I'm tossing up whether to make a fruitcake this year because I haven't been able to for the past few years. I used to always make like a traditional rich fruitcake. I was lucky. My boys actually liked rich fruitcake. I know it's a bit like not a lot of people like rich fruitcake, but all three of mine did. So I used to make them in September and then keep them fed until Christmas, as in the cake fed, because I have to try and keep the boys away from eating the cakes. Um, yeah. So, yeah, look, I guess one of my sons is coming, so I should probably make a fruitcake now that I have an oven. Um, and if there'll be two of them to eat fruitcake, that'd be great. So Katrina says, I would love a Christmas at home. Every Christmas we travel. And I'd love a home Christmas, maybe one year, but I don't want to insult my partner's family. Yeah, that can be tough when you like form your own family and they've like your partner's family's already got traditions. It's hard to then start your own traditions. Um, yeah, I feel yeah, it's hard. Jacqueline says, I'm going to my local city council free Christmas lunch. It's so good and lots of interesting people. That sounds really nice. I'll have to check if there's anything. I'm sure there is in my area. I just haven't looked into it, but yeah, I'm sure there's stuff happening. Citrus peels make made into candied peel is great. I have a lot of lemons right now. So yeah. MR wants to just chill on Christmas Day and go to the beach. That sounds nice. Do you live near the beach or do you need to travel to the beach for Christmas? Nikki says a fruitcake baking video would be great. Yeah, I'm up for that. I yeah, it's probably going to happen. I'm probably going to bake a fruitcake. So, what, whether you want to watch it or not is another question. But I'm probably going to bake a fruitcake. I've made it into mini cakes before, like the same batter, just spread over small cakes. So yeah, I can definitely make them as gifts. I have made them as gifts in the past. Greg says my wife's French Russian. Interesting human. The French Russian clashes each other. Ah, interesting. So the council free Christmas lunch is outside. That sounds nice. That's a good question, Katrina. Yeah. Does anyone else have a YouTube channel that they're putting content on? Let us know. We can come and check you out. All right. At Home with Jacqueline has a channel. That's okay if you only made 3 videos. Like, if you're doing it as a hobby, which previously I was doing it as a hobby, and now I'm like hoping to get monetized. But as a hobby, like the way I probably prefer to make videos is to wait until like inspiration hits or I see something that I really want to share and make a video about. But um yeah, like I get that if you're trying to become monetized, you need to be a bit more consistent so that people know what to expect. Um yeah. But as a hobby, yeah, just make videos when you're enjoying something and you want to share it. Like I think that's great. All right. So the beach is about half an hour from you. Okay, cool. Cool. So you can definitely travel there for Christmas. Yeah, I hear you, Katrina, having to travel for Christmas. Um, yeah, it's not fun. When we had little kids, we traveled on Christmas too because we had to go to both sides of the family. Yeah, it was actually a relief when we moved too far away from either family to see them on Christmas, and we were just able to have Christmas on our own. And if they wanted to come to us, they could. But yeah, it was actually a relief when we moved too far away to be able to do the back and forth on Christmas Day, taking the kids from one place to another. It really makes Christmas even more stressful than it already is. Um, all right, cool. So fruitcake baking video would work for you. Cool. I think my oven is a slow oven. So yeah, it, I will use the recipe that I've always used and see how long it takes in this oven. So Dimmy cooks for the food bank over the Christmas period. That sounds nice. And I'm sure your community appreciates it. Could I sell some mini fruitcakes to fellow students? I don't know. I feel like the bar of how good they have to be would be much higher if I was selling them. So that would make me nervous. Am I going to the beach on Christmas? Probably not. I don't even know where the nearest beach is, but yeah, I actually don't know. Um, Basically, where I am, I came from where I was straight to here, like in a reasonable amount of time, and I haven't really like gone very far from where I landed. I guess. So I'm just trying to settle in, I guess. Um, Katrina likes watching grocery hauls on YouTube. Yeah, I wasn't sure if my grocery hauls were getting a bit repetitive because I've done them so many times. But look, I do go grocery shopping most weeks, although I'm trying to do a low spend October, as I mentioned earlier. So maybe I won't go every week. But I am getting the funky food boxes now as well. So I'll be unboxing those. I'm sorry to hear that, Dimmy. But you're forming your own, like you're forming a new family by going out and cooking for the food bank. So like it's good. I know it must be hard to push yourself, but yeah, you gotta get out there and form new community, I guess. I'm talking to myself as well, obviously. um Orange peel and hot cross buns at Easter is really good. Yeah, a lot of people are alone. Yeah, I mean, they say there's a loneliness epidemic. Yeah, it's tough. Hello, Testabend. That's good, Timmy, that you're a happy person. Yeah. How are my children? They're good. They're good. One of them is living in Europe, having adventures. He's really good. Um, one is living where I used to live, and he's really good as far as I know. He's at uni. All three of them are doing a degree, and yeah, they're, they're doing well. Um, 2 hours. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, I am going to go in a moment because I am starting to feel a little parched. I mean, really, guys, could you guys not like pitch in and start talking into the microphone for me? Um, Rachel loves making frozen treats for Christmas. That sounds perfect for our hot Christmases. Are my kids in touch? Yes, I talk to them often. If anything, I talk to them a lot more now than I did before the breakdown of my relationship. So, yeah, I've been able to, rekindle those bonds um, in recent months. So, yeah, they definitely keep in touch. So, Greg, when he has a few home brews, he loves cooking. Okay, yeah, loosen you up, get into the cooking spirit. You're getting out the dad jokes. Okay, cool. Ah, yes, so that you can contribute to the talking into the microphone. Yes, give us some dad jokes. I'm making Greek potatoes for Christmas, all 200 kilos of them. You hope you don't have to peel them this year. That is a lot of peeling, Dimmy. I assume you'll have help though. Okay, guys. Well, I've had a lot of fun. I hope that this has been valuable to you too. I feel like I'm just sitting here awkwardly, but thank you. Thank you for all the great chat. You guys are awesome. Yeah. Yes, you guys take care too. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Um, yes, it was nice to hang out with you all too. Um, all right. Oh, she's off camera. She is here. She's been there the whole time. I'm sorry. Here's the cat. Um, yeah, she's just. You may have been able to hear her snoring. I don't know. But yes, there was a cat. I just didn't even think about what you guys could see or couldn't see. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. And I will catch you in the comment sections. I will hopefully get a video out in the next few days. And I'll probably do another live chat in 2 weeks from now. So, yeah, thank you. And I'll catch you guys later.